It has been 6 months since Ethan died. The crash was not anyone's fault. A deer on a mountain road. 2 cars. Both drivers gone before the first patrol car arrived. No one to blame, nothing to do with it. I rented the cabin in October. I did not think I would actually come. Then November ended and I was still sitting in our kitchen at 2 in the morning staring at his coffee mug. I packed a bag the next day. The cabin was in Montana, 2 hours from the nearest town. Remote, forested. That was the part 1 needed. The host lived on the same property. The cabin was 400 feet down a gravel path. His name was Dale. He was waiting in his driveway when I pulled in. Tall, sunburned, a faded green cap pulled low over his eyes. Smiling before I even rolled the window down. "You must be her," he said. I said I was. He walked right up to the car, closer than I was ready for. He leaned in. "You came alone?" I said yes. He nodded slowly, looked at the passenger seat, looked at the back seat. "Good," he said. He walked me down to the cabin himself, talking the whole way, about the deer on this road, about a guest last year who left the stove on for 2 days. I was exhausted before we reached the door. Inside was simple. 1 room, a kitchen corner, a wood stove. Dale stood in the doorway while I set my bag down. I keep an eye on the place. Cameras on the main house, 1 on the path, 1 on the driveway. He smiled. "I see everything that moves out here." He finally left. I locked the door behind him. The first night I dreamed Ethan was in the kitchen again. I woke up reaching for his side of the bed. It was cold. Around 4 I gave up and made coffee. That was when I saw it. A small wet footprint on the wooden floor near the front door. Just 1. I checked my boots. They were dry. It was not mine. I told myself Dale had come in to check something. He seemed like the type who would not ask. I wiped it up. I did not sleep the next night either. On the second afternoon, Dale knocked. He was holding a jar. "Huckleberry jam," he said. "Welcome gift." I took it. He stood there looking past me into the cabin. His eyes moved across the room slowly. "You sleep okay last night?" I lied and said yes. "You hear anything, you call me, any hour." He pointed at the small landline phone on the wall. "That line goes straight to my kitchen." Then he smiled. "I sleep light." He left. I watched him walk back up the gravel path. He stopped once, turned, looked at the cabin, then kept walking. That night I woke up cold, the kind of cold that means a window is open. I had not opened any windows. I sat up. Across the room, the curtain above the kitchen sink was moving, slowly, like someone had just let it drop. I walked to the window. It was closed now, but the latch was unlocked. I had checked every latch the morning I arrived, every single one. I locked it. I went back to bed and did not close my eyes until the sky turned grey. In the morning, I walked the whole cabin. Everything looked normal until I checked the closet. The bottom shelf was empty when I arrived. I had made a point of noticing. It was not empty now. Pushed to the back corner was a folded brown blanket. Not mine. I knelt down. The blanket was warm, the temperature of something that had been held against a body an hour ago. On top of it, a plastic water bottle, half full. The water still had small bubbles along the inside. An empty pill box, label torn off, a single work glove. No match. I did not touch any of it. Someone had been storing things in my cabin, and whoever it was had just left. I reached for the landline with shaking hands. Dale answered on the first ring. "Was wondering when you'd call," he said. My throat closed. "Stay inside. Lock the door. Do not open it for anyone but me." "Dale, what is happening?" There was a pause on his end. "I have been watching the cameras for 2 days. He goes in when you leave. He comes out at night." I asked who. "I do not know. He is not mine." He told me to wait. He said he would flash the porch lights 3 times when it was safe to come out. Not for a voice, not for a badge, not for me calling your name from outside. "You wait for the lights." Then he hung up. I locked the door. I sat on the bed with a kitchen knife in my lap. Outside, the wind picked up. Rain started. I heard a car engine somewhere up the path. Then nothing. I reached for my phone and opened Ethan's contact. It was still there. I wanted to call it just to hear the voicemail. I did not. Then footsteps on the porch. Slow. They stopped at the door. The knob turned. Gently. Once. Twice. I held my breath. A voice. not Dale's. "Ma'am, your host sent me. He said you needed help." I did not answer. "Ma'am, I can hear you in there. Dale is hurt. I am a neighbor." I did not move. The knob turned harder, then a creak as weight pressed against the door. The door frame groaned. I watched the chain lock tremble. Then the pressure released. Running footsteps down the porch, around the side of the cabin, into the trees. Silence. 2 minutes later, the porch lights flashed. Once, twice, 3 times. I opened the door. Dale was standing there in the rain with a shotgun at his side and mud on his knees. He is gone. Into the woods. I could not catch him. The police came an hour later. They found the blanket, the bottle, the pillbox, the glove. They found a worn spot in the dirt behind the main house. A shallow hollow, where someone had been sitting, watching. They did not find the man. He had been using the cabin for supplies, coming in when I was out, staying hidden when I was home, waiting for what? They did not say. I drove out of the mountains in the dark. I thought about Ethan the whole way home, about the road, about the deer, about a man I never saw, standing at my window, listening to me cry myself to sleep. Another thing I could not do anything about. My brother took his own life a year ago in March. I do not talk about it much. He was the one who used to drag me out on camping trips when we were kids. He was the one who knew which trail went where. I learned all of that from him. The trip to West Virginia was supposed to be my first one since he died. I drove in on a Tuesday afternoon, Monongahela National Forest. A gravel road narrowed until it was just dirt. There were only 2 vehicles in the trailhead lot. One was mine now. The other was a black pickup, parked backward. The grille faced the trees, no plates visible. Windows tinted dark, no driver around. I told myself hunter. Someone deeper in the trees. I hiked a half-mile to my campsite. By sundown, I had the tent up, the fire going. The air was clean and cold. For the first time in a year, I could feel my shoulders drop. I read a book I had brought him for his birthday 3 years ago. He had given it back to me unread. I slept hard. Around 8 the next evening, I was sitting by the fire when I heard a vehicle engine far down the road. Then nothing. The engine did not fade. It cut, like someone parked. I listened for a long time. No doors, no voices. I let the fire die and went to bed. I was asleep maybe an hour when the sound woke me. A scream, a quarter-mile through the trees. Maybe less. It was not a yell. It was not a fight. It was the sound a person makes when something is being done to them. I did not move. I lay in the tent with my hand over my mouth. The scream came again, shorter, cut off, then nothing. The forest stayed silent, not normal silent. The wind had stopped. The leaves had stopped moving, like something had walked through and pushed the sound out with it. I did not sleep. I lay there holding a hatchet I had no idea how to use. At first light, I unzipped the tent. The fire was dead ash. I told myself I would leave that morning. Then I told myself I would look first. Maybe because my brother would have looked. I walked in the direction of the sound. There was no trail. I pushed through thick brush, over fallen logs, across a shallow creek. About 20 minutes in, I stopped. I smelled smoke. Not campfire smoke, bitter, chemical, burnt plastic and fabric. I followed it. Through a narrow gap in the trees, I found a clearing, a fire pit, recent, still smoking faintly. In the ashes were pieces of cloth, half burned, a shoe sole, a strip of something that looked like a leather strap. Around the pit, the ground was stamped flat. Many footprints, different sizes. Leading away from the pit into deeper woods was one single trail. Drag marks, long parallel lines in the wet dirt. Between the lines, a set of boot prints walking beside. One person, walking, pulling something heavy. I stepped back. I turned and moved fast through the brush toward the campground. Halfway back, I stopped. Something was wrong. I had pushed through this brush an hour ago. I remembered the way the saplings leaned. They leaned the wrong way now. Someone had come through here since me, going the same direction I was now going. toward my camp. When I reached the campsite, I stood at the edge of the trees for a full minute before stepping into the clearing. The tent flap was zipped. I had left it open. I walked to the tent. I opened the flap. On top of the sleeping bag, right in the center, was my hatchet. I was holding my hatchet in my hand. I looked down at the one in my palm. Same wood handle. Same scratches. Same notch in the blade I had put there, splitting a log the day before. It was mine. I looked back at the one in the tent. It was heavier. The handle was dark red, almost black at the grip. I reached out and touched the handle. It was wet, not damp from dew. Wet. Something had been on it recently that was not water. Someone had left me their hatchet and taken mine, or swapped mine for a cleaner one I had never seen. I could not tell anymore which one was which. I grabbed my keys and my phone and I ran. I ran the half-mile to the lot. The black pickup was still there, parked the same way, facing the trees. I did not look in the windows. I got in my truck and drove 3 hours to the nearest sheriff's office. They sent a team. They found the fire pit, the drag marks, the cloth, my tent. They never found a body. They never found the pickup. They told me the plates were probably false anyway. That was the end of the case. 6 months later, a deputy called me. He said 3 missing persons reports from the region shared a pattern, all 3 camping alone. All 3 at remote trailheads. At 2 of those trailheads, another camper had reported a black pickup parked backward. He asked if I was sure about my description. I told him everything I had told him the first time. He thanked me and hung up. I still have the hatchet they left me. It is in a plastic bag in my garage. I do not know why I kept it. Maybe so I would know it was real. Her name was Maya. We were together for 9 years. 6 months ago, she told me she was not in love with me anymore and moved out in a weekend. I was not doing well. My company booked me a conference in Outer Banks. I took it because I did not want to be in my apartment anymore. I flew in Wednesday, checked into the beach hotel around 4. That was where I met Reed. He was in line behind me, tall, late 30s, tan, big smile, wearing a pink and black short-sleeve shirt unbuttoned at the top. He caught my name when I gave it to the desk clerk. "Hey, you here for the conference?" I said yes. "Same. I never know anybody at these things." He laughed. Easy, warm. We walked to the elevator together. He shook my hand before the doors opened. "Drinks later? Lobby bar?" I said sure. I noticed a small dark stain on the bottom right of his shirt. I did not think about it. I went down for dinner alone that night. Reed was at the lobby bar with a woman. He waved me over. "This is Claire, my colleague." Claire was not like Reed. She was pale, flat expression, dark sunglasses indoors. A large canvas tote on the stool next to her, empty from the shape of it. She gave me a small nod. She did not speak. Reed talked for all 3 of us, about the conference, about his rental car. Claire stared at her drink. Once I caught her watching me in the mirror behind the bar. Just watching. When I looked, she looked away. I made an excuse after 1 drink and went back to my room. That night I lay in bed and thought about Maya. I had 1 photo of her left in my wallet. A small print from a trip we took to Maine 4 summers ago. She was laughing at something I had said. I looked at it for a long time before I turned off the light. The next day, Reed texted me twice before noon. I was at a panel. I did not answer. Walking back to my room at 9 that night, I smelled something. Perfume. Not mine, not the hotel, not the soap. It was Maya's perfume. The one she wore for 9 years. The one I could pick out of any crowd. She was 2,000 miles away. I stood in the doorway and did not move. Then I started to see it. My suitcase was unzipped. My laptop was sitting on the desk, untouched, but the drawer of the nightstand was open. I walked to it. 3 things were missing. My toothbrush, a grey t-shirt I had slept in the night before, the photo of Maya from my wallet. Everything else in the wallet was there. Cash, cards, ID, just the photo. Then my phone buzzed. A text from a number I did not know. "Don't go back to your room. Call the front desk first." I was already in the room. I backed out into the hallway. I called the front desk. Police came 20 minutes later. They pulled the hallway camera footage. They found a man on the 4th floor stairwell at 7 that evening. walking down, carrying something small in his hand, pink and black shirt, small dark stain on the bottom right. But the face was not Reed's. It was an older man, grey hair, thin, different build, same shirt. The officer played the footage again. He asked me if I was sure the man I had drinks with was the man on the camera. I said no. Then he showed me earlier footage. The same older man, going into a different room on the 4th floor. Using a key, the officer checked the room number. No one named Reed was registered in the hotel. No one named Claire was registered. The room the older man had entered was booked under a third name, paid in cash, checked out that afternoon. They were gone before I even got back from the conference. I flew home and changed every lock. Weeks passed. I started sleeping again. Then one night I was scrolling Maya's Instagram. I should not have been, but I was. She had not posted in months. Her last photo was from our trip to Maine, the one where she was laughing. There was a new comment under it, from an account I did not recognize. No profile picture, no posts, one follower. The comment said, "She looks happy here." I reported the account. I did not sleep that night. The account was not removed. It just went private. 2 weeks later, I got a message request on Instagram. Same account. One line. "Have you replaced the photo yet?" I took a screenshot. I sent it to the detective who had worked my case. He told me to block the account and not respond. He told me something else. He had been trying to reach me for 2 days. The phone I had used to text the front desk that night. The number that had warned me not to go back to my room. That number belonged to the older man in the camera footage. He had texted me from his own phone, and I still do not know why. I blocked the Instagram account, but I still check that Instagram post once a week, just to see if there are new comments. There never are. Not yet.